What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the chick I'm up here with what is probably my favorite druid farming guy that is currently face tanking the butcher with some other elites in me, or some other mobs smacking me in the face. Yeah, we're getting the CC'd and we are, no, don't care. TL, anyway, now that it's just the butcher check us out, we're just going to stand here and we're going to smack him in the mouth. And it's going to be great. Oh, look, he hooked us. Oops. Oh, wait, we were immune to CC. What happened there? Oh, yeah, we got bulwark. That's what happened there. Oh, we got a little low. Huh. So if we push our potion and just move around, we won't be a little low anymore, huh? Yeah, it's a little much. It's a little crazy. It's a little awesome. We got some bad fixes. We don't care. We're just smacking the butcher. Into oblivion. Just like we always do when we run into him. It's just smacking him out. Showing where his face is. Is what it is. Don't really care. All our cooldowns are up constantly. Meh. Check it out. Bang. Trample. 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 Anyway, this is a Nightmare 25. And we're just kind of easily rolling through it with bad affixes and those things blowing up on us and getting CC'd by snake mobs and, you know, just struggling in general because, you know, bad affixes and stuff, but we don't care because we're Trampleslide. Trampleslide is just good until that happened. Yeah, anyway, I'm just going to leave that there and respawn because I got CC'd into the dirt. Anyway, let's hop right into the build. First things first, we are going to teleport out of the dungeon because I don't really want to keep getting ripped and pepperoni while I'm trying to talk. So yeah, let's hop right into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is going to be the fact that you only need, and I do mean need, one aspect. And that is this one. Trample now summons 6 landslide pillars. Actually, that's not true. You need 2. You need this one. Trample now summons 6 landslide pillars of earth, dealing extra damage. It is now nature damage and an earth skill. And you also need, when Nature's Fury key passive triggers a free skill, your non-ultimate cooldowns of the opposite type are reduced by 4 to 8 seconds. So what happens is every time we use Claw, which casts Storm Strike because I have great staff with the Crone, what you do if you don't is you just replace Claw with Storm Strike, and that's literally all you do. You put on a one-hander and an offhand so you can have extra cooldown. That's it. That's all you need to make the build work. It is amazing. Super easy, super fun. Doesn't take long at all to find those aspects. They can drop at low levels. Like, I got my first one at like level 26. And I was running around like, oh, this is cool. I was one-shotting stuff. And then I got the Nature's Fury passive one, and I was like, wait a minute. Hold up. Does that do what I think it does? And then I looked, and yes. Yes, it do. Anyway, let's hop right into the skills. I'm going to pull up a calculator here, and we're going to talk about it for a second. And then I'm going to go over the boons. I'm going to go over a little bit of everything. And then we can talk about how to improve the build, what's best in slot, yada yada. My gear is not optimized. It is garbage. I just happen to have a good weapon, and even my weapon is not rolled the best. So first thing, I'm going to put 1 point in a Storm Strike. Electricity gathers around you, yada yada. The whole reason for this is because we're going to be proccing it with Claw. Enhanced Storm Strike has a 15% chance to mobilize enemies. That comes in handy sometimes. And then we're going to do Fierce Storm Strike because it has a chance to make enemies vulnerable. We're going to grab Claw, because Claw casts Storm Strike. It's going to be awesome, and it gets a ton of extra ranks from the Crone if you have it. If not, I'll tell you where to put these points in just a moment. You're going to grab Enhanced Claw, makes it attack faster, and you're going to grab Wild Claw, which makes it have a chance to hit twice. If it hits twice, this procs twice. If that procs twice, you've got more chances to proc Nature's Fury, which is amazing. We're going to come down here, going to put all the points in the landslide. All of them. All 5. going to put, what that does is just makes the landslide. And the reason we're grabbing this instead of just letting it do its own thing is because as long as this is on your bar, we also get the effects of primal landslide when we get the points there. So we're going to take enhanced landslide. Landslide damages enemies 4 times. The next hit will immobilize the enemy for 3 seconds. So landslide's always hitting them a lot, and it's CCing, and it's always doing its job. So we're going to grab Primal Landslide. When you immobilize or stun an enemy, you gain a Terra Mote. Each enemy hit by a landslide consumes a Terra Mote, causing a guaranteed critical strike with 40% extra critical strike damage. Bosses always have a 10% chance to grant a Terra Mote when hit. So that just means you're going to get some extra crit here and there, and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to put 1 point into Heart of the Wild. Maximum spear is increased by 3. That is not why we're grabbing that. We are grabbing it so we can put 3 points into Wild Impulses. Your core skills now cost 9% more spirit, but deal 15% increased damage. We don't ever cast it. We don't ever have to spend the spirit. We're always at full spirit, so it just all the time has extra damage, which is amazing. And then we are going to put 3 points into Predatory Instinct. Critical strike chance against close enemies by 6% because we're just always close. We're always in melee. We're always charging through guys. It's silly. Then we are going to put a point into Earthen Bulwark. Rocks summon around you for 3 seconds, granting a barrier and absorbing 45% of your base life and damage. Enhanced Earthen Bulwark makes you unstoppable. We're going to grab Preserving Earthen Bulwark. Casting Earthen Bulwark grants 18% life as Fortify. We are going to be fortified almost 100% of the time in this build. It is amazing. We're going to put 1 point in Ancestral Fortitude, which gives you non-physical resistances, but that's not the reason we're taking it. We're taking it because you gain 5% increased damage reduction for 6 seconds after using a defensive skill. I'm going to put 3 points in there. We're always going to be spamming Earthen Bulwark because it's going to be coming off cooldown really fast. So we're always going to have just a free 15% damage reduction, which is awesome. Okay, so here's where you put your points if you don't have the gear. You're going to put 1 point into Poison Creeper, 1 point into Enhanced Poison Creeper, and then 1 point into Brutal Poison Creeper, because it's just going to give you some more critical hit chance, and it's going to make it a little easier. However, what you want to do is just make sure you have a helmet that rolled Poison Creeper on it. And as long as your helmet rolled Poison Creeper, you do not have to have any points in there after you get the crone, or before you get the crone, as long as you have that. Okay? So just make sure you have Poison Creeper on your hat, and then you get to put those 3 points wherever you want if you don't have the crone yet. Well, after that, we are going to go on down, and we are going to grab 1 point in Hurricane. Hurricane around you deals damage to enemies over 8 seconds. This is going to be off of cooldown all the time too, because every time Trample casts, which is 6 times every time we do the thing, it is going to get its cooldown reduced. So we are basically going to be full-time Hurricane. We're going to grant Enhanced Hurricane. Enemies who are damaged by Hurricane are slowed, which, you know, we are doing things to CC'd enemies, so we are taking more and more and more multipliers here. All of this synergy is made. Savage Hurricane. Enemies affected by Hurricane deal 20% less damage. Bam! So we're just going to be debuffing them like crazy. We're going to grab Trample, shapeshift into a werebear, become unstoppable, charge forward, deal damage, knock back. The amount of damage doesn't matter. We're only going to put 1 point in here. We're going to put 1 point into Enhanced Trample, gains bonus damage, we don't care. We're only going for natural trample, and the reason being, it makes us more tanky, it gives us Fortify. As you can see from the gameplay, my gear is not good. I am squishy. I'm going to go over it with you here in a few minutes and just show you how bad my gear really is. It really is pitiful. And then we're going to take 9 points and we're going to put them over here. Crushing Earth. Earth skills deal 15% increased damage to anybody who is basically CC'd at all. Safeguard. Critical strikes with Earth skills fortify you for 7% of your base life. So we're going to be critting all the time. It's going to keep us fortified. And then Stone Guard. Whenever you have Fortify over 50% of your maximum life, your Earth skill deals 12% increased damage. That is going to be up basically all the time. We're going to put 1 point into Neurotoxin because poisoned enemies are slowed by 8%. Everything's always going to be poisoned thanks to Poison Creeper. The big thing here is we're going to put 3 points into Envenom because poisoned enemies take 30% additional critical strike damage, which is a multiplier, which is huge. It just makes you hit so much harder. We're not taking an ultimate skill. Talk about that here in a minute. What we are going to do, however, is we're going to put 3 points into Defiance. Bang, bang, bang. Nature magic skills deal 12% damage, 12% increased damage to elites, which is amazing. We're going to grab Defensive Posture, increase the amount of Fortify you gain from all sources by 15%, just makes everything better. We're going to put 1 point into Nature's Resolve, chances when struck to fortify you for 4% of your base life, which is just awesome. And then we are going to put 1 point into Quick Shift. When shapeshifting transforms you into a different form, it deals 5% increased damage. Okay, so every time you shapeshift into bear, it's going to deal 5% increased damage. The big thing here is we're going to put 3 points into Heightened Senses. Heightened Senses is going to give us 12% damage reduction against elites for 5 seconds every time we shapeshift into a werewolf or a werebear, which is every time we push a button, basically. So we are going to be going crazy. Nature's Fury recently got buffed from 20 to 30%. Casting an Earth skill has a 30% chance to trigger a free Storm skill of the same category. In addition, casting a Storm skill has a 20% chance to trigger a free Earth skill of the same category. That means as you're spamming your skills, things are proccing, you're getting other skills, it's kind of cool. You're making lightning storms, you're making tornadoes, you're making cyclones, you're literally doing everything all the time. It's awesome. Right, so this is going to be your final build here, and then what we are going to do is talk about the boons real quick. So the spirit boons you want to grab wariness. You take 10% reduced damage from elites. We are going to be bonded with the eagle because we are going to take 2 here. We're going to take sight talons, which is going to be 5% increased crit strike chance, and then avian wrath, 30% increased critical strike damage, which is an amazing combination. We're going to grab Pack Leader and Wolf because critical strikes have a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of your companion skills. This is anytime anything crits. So as your ground is trembling and it's hitting things, every crit has a 20% chance. Sometimes we wind up just spamming Poison Creeper. Things are constantly just CC'd, and it's giving us stacks of landslide. It's making landslide crit more because we're getting terra modes, and it's just, sometimes it just goes crazy, right? And then the last thing we're going to get down here in the snake tree is masochistic. Critical strikes with shape-shifting skills heal you for 3% of your maximum life. So every time we do something, so, you know, trample, hey, landslide, hey, all of these things, when they crit, are going to heal us. So it's going to be going crazy. So let's talk about the Paragon Board real quick, and then I'm going to finish this dungeon. Alright, so what we are going to be doing for the Paragon Board is a little different, and I'm going to show you this on max roll because it's a little easier over there. I am not all the way leveled up, but I am working on it, and I'd rather give you more information here than what I have on my character. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to be starting at the starter board, obviously. You're going to go up to the right, you're going to grab the rare nodes as you go. The first one is great, 10% extra damage. The next thing that's huge that you're going to get is going to be the glyph socket. Hopefully you have exploit to put there. If you don't, there's going to be a list of things in the written guide that you can put there instead, which is, they're all really helpful, they're all awesome. This one is super easy to turn on because there's so many dex nodes near it. So when you get the extra thing, so first thing is you get extra vulnerable damage to enemies, but as long as you have 25 dexterity, which is super easy with all of these nodes, right? Every time you hit an enemy for the first time, they're going to be vulnerable for 3 seconds. So a lot of times you're just going to one-shot people. And then you're going to pop over to the left, you're going to go up, and then we're going to make our way up into the Survival Instincts tree, which is up here on the right. And by Survival Instincts, I mean Heightened Malice. My bad. Let me back that up one. So Heightened Malice, when there are 3 or more poison enemies nearby, you deal 45% damage, which is awesome because we're always doing things to poison because we're spamming Poison Creeper. You're going to grab Poison Resilience here because it's going to give you max life, and everything is just honky-dory here, right? You just go up to the right, you grab that, and then you make a beeline to the left, and you grab the glyph socket for Fang and Claw. You can do that in whatever order you want. If you already have Fang and Claw, go ahead and grab this. If you don't already have Fang and Claw, go ahead and get up here to Heighten the Malice to get the extra multiplier. Fang and Claw is going to give more effectiveness to all the magic nodes, so all the blue ones that are in range of it. But if you have 40 willpower, which is super easy to get here, we are going to be dealing 12% increased damage to close enemies, which is amazing. Then we're going to grab the rare node on the way out of here, 10% extra damage to poisoned enemies. We're always poisoning enemies. And then we are going to pop over and we're going to put Survival Instincts as close to the gate as we can. And we are going to grab this as fast as possible. When Werebear form, you deal increased damage up to 50% for every 1% difference in your current life total between you and your enemy. Once it's basically an execute. Once they hit 50%, they take 50% increased damage, and that is a multiplier. It is amazing. You're going to make a beeline over for the glyph socket after that. You're going to put Undaunted in there. This one's also super easy to get. Just need a couple intelligence nodes. What this is going to do, you're going to gain additional damage reduction from your Fortify, and you are going to deal extra damage while fortified, which is awesome. And we're going to make a beeline up here. And then this one is just basically a cluster because you got to go up and around. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to rush to the glyph node so we can grab Spirit. Also super easy to get 25 dex here. Critical strikes increase the damage the enemy takes from you by 2% for 20 seconds up to 12 seconds. And we also get an increased 9.9% critical strike damage with core skills. So this is just giving us damage increase and making them take increased damage after they get crit as well. So it's just crazy, crazy, crazy good. And then rare node on the way to the legendary socket over here, nature and magic skills damage extra, and then a flat extra damage to elites, which is awesome. And then if you have enough intelligence, you're also going to get extra nature magic off of that, which means as you get better gear, as you get more points into your Paragon tree, you're just going to get even stronger. We're going to make our way down to Constricting Tendrils. Nature magic skills have a 15% chance to entangle the enemy with binds, mobilizing them for 2 seconds, and poisoning them for base damage over 4 seconds. Basically, Poison Creeper, but stronger. Then we are going to pop over here. We're going to grab Earth and Sky, grant extra to all of the blue nodes over here, and we're going to grab this, which is amazing. We're just going to get 14% more damage to core skills, which is going to be Landslide, which is awesome. And then we are going to make a beeline down here to, you can pop around, so you take these points back out, and then you go around to Heighten Malice. So all of these points get removed and put back in over here, so you can save points in the long run to get over to Heighten Malice. Then we're going to back out. We're going to go back over here to Earth and Devastation Tree, where we are going to make a beeline for the glyph socket so we can grab Guzzler. For every 5 intelligence purchased, you deal increased damage while healthy. We are almost always healthy. And then if you meet the requirements, you're going to gain potion healing, which is meh, we don't really care. And then after it's level 15, you can actually meet the requirement, which is fine. And then the rest of this is hitting level 15 and increasing the ranges of all of your nodes, you know, making them stronger, yada yada, and it's telling you what order to do them in so you can get the extra stuff there. Right, so let's take a look at my gear so you can see that you really don't need anything good, and then we will roll on from there. So, first things first, I do have the Great Staff of the Crone. This is a lot stronger than using these, but that being said, it is not required. Again, all you have to do is use Storm Strike. It's amazing. We're using blue gems here because it gives us critical strike damage to crowd controlled enemies, which is every enemy we hit because we're constantly crowd controlling. We are using Nature's Fury key passive, you know, symbiotic, which is amazing. That's requirement number 1 for the build. I'm using Disobedience here because Disobedience is one of the strongest defensives in the game. I'm using Ballistic here to make it where when fortified, your earth skills get +2 ranks. So when you're fortified, our landslide is going to be 9 instead of 7, and I think I can make that happen just by charging and pushing a button, right? So it's literally up all the time because we're always fortified. I like this. I like the duration of Earth and Bulwark with the Mending Stone thing here, because it gives you an extra 6 seconds on Earth and Bulwark, which, you know, 9 seconds of Earth and Bulwark when it's only a 6-second cooldown, and then every time a Storm skill gets cast, the cooldown has a chance of being reduced. So it's basically up all the time as long as we're casting the skills. See, like, you can literally keep it up basically all the time, right? And that's not including trampling in between time in the meantime. So it is just amazing to have that. I enjoy that. Honestly, that's going to be your flex spot. You can use the bear chest, the unique that gives you extra bear skills. You can get, you know, whatever you want to do there. And then on the helm slot, I have the basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for 2 seconds, because we're always using basic skills as we're running around. You're either using Storm Strike or Claw, depending on if you have the Great Staff or not, and it's just amazing. So on your hat, you want Poison Creeper and cooldown as the big things, and then attack speed and health or something else tanky. Your chest, you just want super tanky. Your gloves, you would ideally have crit and more damage things. I have nothing. See how bad those are? Those are literally terrible. Your pants, you definitely just want all of the defensive stuff. I got these a little earlier today. I was tickled to death. They're so good. I wish they were a little higher item level, but yeah. Your boots, you want movement speed, cooldown, or not spirit cost reduction, movement speed and tanky stuff. That's literally all you need. Resistances are kind of bad here, so you want like main stat, willpower, movement speed, something tanky. With this, you just want good rolls. Who knows? Sometimes you get good rolls, sometimes you don't. Just having the staff in general is super good. If you don't have the staff, I recommend a one-hander and an offhand just to get extra aspects, so you can get more multipliers, you can get all kinds of things. On the neck, you're using the Trampled Earth aspect, which is the one that drops. So that is super important. Now summons 6 landslide pillars of Earth. It's amazing. So that one drops, and then the one for Nature's Fury drops. You need both of those. They're just amazing. They make the build work. Nothing else is required. Everything else can come from the Codex. And then we've got Circle of Retaliation. Core skills deal up to X amount increased damage based on the amount of Fortify. We're always fortified. And then we have Landslides, Earth Pillars, each strike a second time and deal an additional 9 to 12% damage. Or 6 to 12% damage, rather. So it's nutso, right? So if you don't have enough cooldown, what I would recommend doing is taking the Nature's Fury and putting it on your necklace. I would suggest anything 6 or more, you don't put on your necklace. Anything less than that, you do put on your necklace to make sure that you are able to get everything taken care of. So I'm going to finish this out, and then we are going to hit the outro. The TLDR is done. This dungeon reset. I'm just going to run it real quick. You can hang out. You can do what you want to do. And we will see you guys in the next one. If you don't hang out, if you do hang out, just watch how silly this is when you're not trying to not pay attention and trying to talk. You're just trying to play, and you are literally just one-shotting so many mobs that are so many levels above you. And you're staying at full HP because you're just fortified all the time. It is literally just amazing, right? And then you're gonna just spam your buttons on cooldown. How I play this, I literally hold down the button to claw, and then as my cooldowns happen and as I'm clawing, I'm just spamming the buttons. I'm sure you can hear them from when I'm playing here. I'm literally just spamming my buttons. Every time I claw, every time I hurricane, every time I use anything that is not trample or earth shield, it is giving me a chance to bring up trample or earth shield, except for the skill for the pet there, poison. Right, that one doesn't reset. The only one that doesn't have reset synergy is Poison Creeper, which, in my opinion, just wins, right? This is the easiest put together, most fun farm build to get started. I mean, obviously everybody wants to be Tornado Wolf, but like, why you can't be Tornado Wolf? Why not be Trample Bear? I'm going to call this build Spample because you're Spample, right? So it's more fun that way. And people be talking about, we're doing this, we're doing that. Nah, fam, we just spampling, y'all. But yeah, as far as that goes, and you can use your poison creepers to CC to get out of dodge. You know, you can use them for whatever you need as long as you're using your cooldowns, because you don't have to hit anything to trigger Nature's Fury. You just have to push the button, right? So being able to just hit the buttons, move around, not worry about hitting anything, and just using your trample to reposition, using your Earth Bulwark to make sure you have immune and extra move speed, like, it's just good. And when you fight a leech, you literally delete them. Like, you knock them around, I mean, he's vampiric. He hit me, but didn't heal himself because Spample did, right? Like, it's just really good. And you don't have to worry about, like, skipping any kind of mobs, or skipping this affix, or skipping that affix, because you're just literally as strong as you want to be, right? If you min-max this build a little bit, I believe you can do whatever you want in the game. I plan to do so myself. As you can see, I am handily doing things that are 7 levels above me without any issues whatsoever. The only thing I struggle with is if I'm not paying attention and I get one of those pools on the ground and I stand in it, and that's not the build, that's bad point, which I will admit I do sometimes because I'm not the best player at this game, but, you know, especially when I'm trying to talk, trying to give you guys my 2 pennies makes it, oh yeah, I have too many sigils. What up? That's a good problem to have. Y'all look, check it out. Bang! Let's go ahead and pop a potion. May as well. Yeah, so the thing is, every time you pop your poison creeper once resets, it gives you motes. It gives you pheromones. Pheromones are going to give you automatic crit that does extra crit damage. And then I'm going to stand bad because I wasn't paying attention. But like, just move yourself around, right? Like, use your cooldowns to your advantage. You do not have to stay in melee unless you have cooldown. And then, hold on, is that the chest armor I was talking about? No, that's a werewolf one. Oh well, it's fine. But the bear version of that basically does the same thing. Werebear is your true form. Get extra damage to bear skills, get extra this to bear skills, just that kind of thing. It works out nice. I played with it for a really long time, but I got this chest earlier today, and it was just such an item level increase and had so much more HP on it. I had to take it. Right? Like, I had to switch it. Alright, here is a treasure job. Let me show you how easy we are actually. Bang! Look at that. Dead. Done. Dunzo. I was kind of hoping I'd get the butcher again, but meh, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. So I have to find this last eyeball that apparently I just walked right beside. Yeah, you can also just use your trample on cooldown, period, like to move around and stuff, because it comes back off cooldown so quickly. And then once you have everything, you know, where you need it, and you've got enough cooldown reduction, and, you know, you've got enough stats here, you've got enough stats there, you've got a good enough roll on your Nature's Fury passive aspect. Like, you literally don't have to worry about anything, because you will be spamming trample so much that you never stop. And, like, you can get it to the point where you only have to proc 1 time to be able to cast it again. And that only happens to me if I get a double proc on my claw. So for now, it's a little hard for me, but as I get better gear, as I get more cooldown reduction and stuff, I will be able to do all of that. Now watch how easy this just destroys the boss, right? And like I said, all I'm doing is holding down the claw button. If you don't have stones, you will be holding down Storm Strike. But you're CCing, you're keeping up all all your cooldown. You've been fortified. You had a barrier the whole time. I was at 100% HP the entire time with that. 100% HP the entire time, right? So don't be afraid to grab this. Don't be afraid to check this out. Don't be afraid to put this together, since it's basically one of the easiest ones to grab. But that's going to be it for this. Knock this one out, guys. Like, do it. It's amazing. It's a lot of fun. It's really strong, and it's going to carry you to get whatever you're trying to farm. Anyway, I will catch you guys in the next one, and looking forward to playing with you guys in Sanctuary. See ya.